Hey, what's up, guys? Just doing another little tuning session here. I'm on my out lap right now. This is the first time I've turned the sim on all day, so last time I drove was last night, so I'm just getting a little warmed up here, getting back up to pace, and then probably just put some laps on her and see if I can think of anything to do. But at the same time, I'm already thinking I just want to experiment some more with this front end. Try and get it to not bounce quite as much. Right now it's all about just getting up to speed. Be interesting to see what this first lap is. If it's anywhere between a 20.5 or 2-minute .5 to 2-minute .9, I'll be pretty happy with that. If not, no biggie. Just won't be as happy. That's pretty good. Just getting warmed up. Yeah, the front end just bounces around there. It's just not ideal. Then something else I want to point out to you guys is when I'm going through this next left-hander, I want to put a little bit more rear low, so probably put one more click of rear low speed dampening in the rear, because right at the last part of that corner, the rear end kind of wanted to kick out. Didn't really do it that lap, but see if we can kind of help induce it by just really leaning on the cart. Got through that corner pretty nicely. It's kind of on the edge though. It wasn't the most. I got through there nicely, but it wasn't super easy. Just took a lot of fine modulation with the brake pedal. So I think, yep, see, yep. Alright, we're gonna do a little bit of work here. I think I'm about ready to max out this rear low speed rear or dampening. I gotta be careful here because I'm pulling myself in too many directions. I'm getting ahead of myself basically. I need to either focus on the front or the rear, but not both. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to. I think if I focus on the rear, it'll help, or the front, it'll help me with the rear because it won't be as bouncy. Go ahead and watch the car a little bit, see what it's doing here. As far as the suspension's concerned. You see it just, that was beautiful the way it took that set. Watch it when it goes to the brake to the front end just hunkers down. So when I'm talking about, you know, when I'm talking about the weight shifting from the rear to the front under braking and we're slowing down the rear rebound compression and stuff like that, this motion you'll see this car doing right now is what I'm talking about. You're going to see this rear end lift up, the front end drop down, and when that rear end lifts up, we're slowing down the rate at which it does that if you increase rear rebound compression. So just something to look at here because you'll see it's pretty obvious. Just watch it in real speed. Bam! Just shifted weight like that. Now, it seems like the nose just stays down once it gets there. You can see that in the first part of the corner. What we gotta do, see it's up and then drops right there. That's that weight shift I'm talking about when I'm talking about the weight shifting to the front. Alright, so it takes that set. Just see what it. Watch what it starts down on. It goes through the bumps. Seems to me like it's almost just riding on the bump stops and anything it hits is gonna. That's a big one. You could actually see the inside tire lifts off the ground. Oops, that's not the button I wanted to hit. Just a bumpy track. Really, what it comes down to is it's a bumpy track. I just don't know what you can do with that. I mean, because the car is just already down and just hits a huge bump. Maybe. See what the ride height is right now. Pretty sure it's as high as it'll go. Whoops, wrong way. Which tells me I can go a lot higher, so that's a good thing. Okay, so right now we're at 66 and 88. That's a difference of 22. It's gonna give the whole car a little bit more ride height. Hold on a second. Let me get my book real quick. Okay. 66. Yeah, write down some numbers so I have references for later on. To see what the differences are. 2. And also, what is my deflection? That is a 3, a 3, a 4, and a 1. 3, 4, and a 1. So my front left deflection is 143 millimeters. Front right is a 3. Same. Exactly. 143. 3. Rear, it is 0.5. It's a 3 now. So that's another 5. 255 millimeters, is that right? 105 millimeters. That looks more correct. 55. Another one's 159 millimeters deflection. 2. Alright, so let's raise the car a little bit here. Again, I want to keep this 66 and this 88, whatever these new numbers are. I want this number to be 22 less than this number. So that's what we'll do right now. That means this needs to be 93.4. Not this number I'm clicking, but this number right here needs to be 93. So too far. It's close enough. The the deflection has stayed the same, but it does move. See, the bump stop gaps got bigger. I just went back to look at these numbers again. I'm just so just by raising the car, we're giving ourselves. It changes the bump stop gap, but it keeps the travel. So let's go back like we were before. I really wish they'd explain what exactly this is measuring. Because it can't be, this number cannot be this number. These are two different numbers. This number isn't a measurement of how much travel this is. This is what this represents. So this is just like a measurement of where this bump stop's located on the shock, basically from another given fixed point. That's the best way I think to think about this. If anybody wants to interject and help me work through this, but because the reason it can't be how far the shock travels or travel, because watch when we get this back. Let's get this back. 71, something like that. 70. It doesn't really matter. It's whatever. See now how this is 122? Oh wait, this did change. It's now 98.7. Which is what? 98.7 and 6. Really want to make sure I got this all straight. Start blabbering. 6. 7. $148. So our new travel on the front's 148. So everything I just said was wrong. I just had to work through it. It was like it was before, but I didn't remember. So yeah, it's basically as your travel. It's not exactly like because here my shock deflection is I have 148 millimeters, and then the bump stop gap says it's 122.6 millimeters. Now, let's see, what did that change from? Save this real quick so I don't have to redo it. Experiment. Let's go back. Right now what I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so this is at 117 point. Back here. That's not this. This is 6. Difference between equals 4.7. I'll tell you what I'm doing here in a second. 7, and what was this at before? So the difference between that and that. 148. It's 5. Okay, so those are exactly the same. That's what I just figured out for sure, forever and ever time. This is basically the same as that. That's all I just spent all my time doing. Because I changed the bump stop gap by what, like 4.7 millimeters, and then the difference between the two new shock deflections is 5. So I mean it's 0.3 different. Let's just see. That's so. What's the difference here though? There's still a difference here. 148, 122.6, because under these conditions, my shock deflection's 148 millimeters. My bump stop gap's 122.6. So I'm gonna take the difference of the two, which is 452, which is 25.4 millimeters. So I just don't know why there's a difference between these two measurements. So if somebody wants to help me out, conceptualize this for everybody. I mean, the bottom line is when you adjust this, however many millimeters, it's gonna change your travel how many. Like it's a 1-to-1 ratio. If it's not, it's like a 1 to 1.05 ratio. So there is a difference of 25.4 millimeters, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. I guess it just really matters in understanding the car a little bit better. Long run, help you tune it a little bit better. All right, so we just went through. So that was a little lesson on me trying to figure stuff out. Oh yeah, we got to make the back different. What do I need to be? I need to be at 93. There we go. They're pretty much, that's about a 22 millimeter difference in rake between the front and the rear, like it was before. What I really should do is do everything I just did on the front and see if it's any different for the rear, but I'm not going to do that right now. Because I've already spent enough time trying to figure out that front stuff, so get back out here and run some more laps. So now we got about 5 millimeters more travel and 5 millimeters more ride height. Oh no, we don't. Forget that 5. Wait, yeah we do. Yeah we do. Sorry, I got confused for a second. Yeah, we're 5 millimeters higher and 5 millimeters more travel. Really, I'm just looking for better compliance over bumps. Not worried about bottoming out, it's just more about giving my car a little bit more travel. So hopefully it's not quite as far down when it's... Basically, I'd like the suspension when we were looking at it earlier from that little side angle. I'd like it to be a little bit higher when it's in its set state and still has some spring travel below its set state. So I'm trying to get the front end set state just a little bit higher so it actually does have a little bit more travel in it for when it does get to a couple of those bigger bumps. Yep, a little wide on my turn in there. Got a little bit wider initial line. Wasn't able to get to that apex. No experiment, just keep it in third gear there, but it looks like I should go to second. I think it's just a little too low in third gear. Or that's got much better speed for third gear on exit, or engine speed. That's better. Still got a little nip at that inside curve, which just cost me probably a fraction of a tenth, but Ideally, you don't want to hit the curb for that corner. See, second gear is much better through there. Ooh, that was pretty nice. Oh, and I finally put the right amount of gas in it, I believe. I'll double check my calculations after this run. But, right now, iSpeed's telling me I get 0.875 gallons a lap. Smoother through there for sure. Going in the right direction.
0.13.
Ooh, so close to that wall. Getting barreled by the fence. Oh, too fast. Got too excited by the barrel, bro. No, I'm just drifting, bro. Oh yeah, wall for the win, bro. Alright, so ride height is an improvement. Be kind of interesting to watch too, because this corner gives me trouble as far as the front end bouncing. Pretty much on exit. Just watch it. Yeah, this is a pretty sweet camera angle. So close to the wall, bro. Alright, let's watch this beast bounce. I guess we'll go a bit closer. There we go. Bouncy, bouncy. Bouncy, bouncy. Ah, dang it, I hate hitting that button. I'm gonna be doing some experimenting now. First, I'm gonna save this. It's V3. I don't know if I want to do more travel right now. I think I want to mess around with the high-speed dampers. Look at her through here. Almost thinking maybe more travel with stiffer springs would be a better direction to go, because the reason I'm saying that is because what I want right now is like for when we hit bumps like that, and when we hit, where's the next big one? Let's just go back to that one. When we hit those big bumps, I don't want the suspension to be down on the bump stops. Like that actually. That one's a little. I'm not gonna do it right now, but my thought process behind having the stiffer springs is when with the front end sets, with the stiffer springs, it'll set a little bit higher, and when we hit those stiffer bumps, it'll give it a little bit more room to give for those bumps instead of being all the way down the bump stops and not having any room. But right now I want to focus on this high-speed compression dampening and high-speed rebound dampening in the front. First I want to see what my max range is, 16. What I want to do first is increase this, because I see this number is pretty doggone low. We'll bring this up to 5, and what I'm hoping it does, so this is high-speed compression. So this is when we're hitting those big bumps. This is when you're hitting curbs. It's the high-speed compression is just this compression right here when we're hitting the bumps. So it's by slowing that down, what I'm hoping, here, let's go over here. What I'm hoping happens is the front end, when it hits those bumps, it compresses a little bit slower, so we don't get to that full compression so quick. So it's just not like bam, 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 bam. It slows. It'll slow down a bit, and it won't hit the bottom with such force because it's gonna be coming at a slower rate. So instead of just having it where it was before, which is that damper was pretty free to not do anything at all. Or should say the travel of the suspension was free on compression at high rates. So maybe by slowing that initial high-speed compression down, it'll just be able to be a little bit more compliant over that bump. That's my hope. Wow, does that feel better? Just, you probably can't even see it in my hands, but the wheel's not jumping around in my hands as much, is what I'm trying to say. Before I'd hit the bumps and it just, I'd be jerking my hand like that, or that was just, that's the first lap, but I felt real good through those bumps. Maybe I just found a really good line, so I'll give it a couple more laps, but yeah, it's just so much smoother through there too, because that inside curve that has a little bumps to it there too, but I couldn't even feel it that time. So looks like I was onto something there. Maybe the car was just reaching full compression a little too soon. See, give it some more laps. Gonna get S a little too early. Alright, so I actually feel through this last corner. It's holding its line better. It's not being upset by the bumps as much as it was before. Okay, that's a little rougher, but it's not getting upset by the line. I'm not having to wait for it as much. I can kind of, the bumps are there and I feel them, but I can drive through them. As opposed to before where I had to kind of wait on them. Ooh, I broke late there. Little late. Alright, making some good progress. I always like making progress. Ooh, yeah, that's fun. I was just being stubborn. I was just trying to drive through it, see if I could pull it off. Back at this and see if we can see anything that looks any different than the last time we looked at it. Okay, see, this is a lap. Man, thing's bouncing. But it's more controllable though. Look at that thing just bouncing. Now that's lap 9, so let's go back to previous lap, like lap 4. See what this looks like. See how much, look at the, to me it looks like the tire is farther up in the wheel well on this this lap. Let's watch this in real speed real quick. See how just the tire's not really moving much from the body? Let's go to lap 9. What is going on? Oh, I'm in the... There we go. I was in the pit box. Let's see if this wheel looks... See how much... I mean, it looks like that wheel's given a lot more than it was on lap 4. Or it's just traveling more. Of course, we're hitting bumps a lot harder. Back to lap 4. See how lap 5 was getting through there. And it's a much... You can tell there's no real resistance from the bottom of the stroke to the top of the stroke. it's there, you know, it's not that nice fluid motion like we have going now. So save this. Probably gonna call it here. I mean, I want to kind of experiment more with the ride height and these high-speed damper settings. I just don't want to spend a lot of time with this video, but I mean, this is kind of the process, so I guess I'll just go ahead and make some adjustments and keep on going, because this is how it works. So let's just first, do I want to give myself more travel, or do I want to try more compression? I don't think I'm bottoming out anywhere now. Let's go back to lap 8 and watch this, see if we're even bottoming out through here at all. Maybe a little bit right there. Can we hear in real time? I don't know if I'm bottoming out. I haven't really been paying attention to that. See if we can hear it here. Okay, so I'm not bottoming out, so I'm not going to worry about ride height right now. I'm just going to try and increase this. Let's go 2 more clicks, see how she feels. The only reason ride height would have influenced me is because I would have kind of been killing 2 birds with 1 stone if I would have gone that direction, but since I don't need to increase the ride height due to bottoming out, then that bird doesn't exist to kill. I figure I'd just go at the high speed compression dampening and see a little more of that. Just helps his front end settle down a little bit more. And thinking about this, I mean, I can keep tuning this as long as I want to. Eventually, I'll get to a point where I've adjusted everything on the car. But if you want to get faster, there's usually... I can't believe I say that. There's usually... I should just hot link that little time stamp there for people so you can control cars and sides in this game. But anyways, what was I saying before that? Oh yeah, about tuning. I mean, there's always something you can tweak and adjust and find another 10th. I mean, eventually you get to where you're looking for hundreds and thousands, but it takes you a long time to experiment. Because I mean, it's like before where I can make setups like I was doing last season. They're good, you know, solid setups, but I didn't experiment with every single setting to just see if it was a little bit better if I want one there or the other. So yeah, it takes a lot of time, but kind of there's that little glimmer of hope always that there's more time to be found in the set because there's things you haven't even touched. Like I haven't touched the roll bars. I don't think I've touched the tire pressures. Haven't really messed too much around with the rear springs. Another first adjustment. Haven't messed around with the toes. Haven't messed around with the caster. Haven't messed around with the cambers. Haven't messed around with the gurney flap. You know, there's just a lot of stuff I haven't even tested to see if it works better one way or the other. And I mean, think about it. Honestly, if you haven't even experimented with it, it's probably not at its optimal setting. So, there's always ways to find more time or get the set to do. Find a little bit more grip in the set. Of course, again, there's always, you do plateau eventually, but if you're giving it an honest effort, it's going to take you a while to plateau. I mean, come to your real final plateau. You'll probably come to little mini plateaus, but then you'll break through them. Alright, well, I'll focus on driving. Yeah, too fast. It's tricky, a little complex. You have to use, at least in this rough, I have to use the brake. Just little dabs of the brake to help me stay on line and get that front end to get a little more weight on it and a little more rotation in it. That time I just went a little too fast through the corner. The front end doesn't feel quite as smooth, so I think I might have actually just gone too far. I'll go back on those front high-speed compression changes. Give it another lap or two, but it feels like it's not quite as smooth. Ideally, that's what it's all about, is finding that little sweet spot between too soft and too stiff. Just pure compliance. Yeesh, a bad line. Yeah, it just doesn't feel quite as smooth, so I'll go back on that adjustment. Watch out now. I need a rally game, guys. In this day and age, we need a rally game. Come on, iRacing. Nah, they still got like another 15 years to figure out this road racing stuff, and then they can go to rally. Alright. That's it. I'm gonna go back on my, let's go back to my previous setup. And we'll call it a day. Alright, made some more progress today. Definitely think I upped my overall pace by a couple tenths. I don't know if it was a tenth. I can't remember what I ran that last session. I have to go looking at my other race prep video. I'm pretty sure this is faster. Anyway, so I was going to run a full run, but I think I'm going to go do that off the camera. Go into an actual practice server with other cars and go run some full laps now. And if anything ugly comes up, I'll make another video about it and make some changes. Yeah, I guess, till next time.